Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Nathan Crane, Director of the Health and Healing Club. So excited you are joining us here for this really special Ask the Experts session with a dear friend, highly respected leader in the field of the emerging science, incredible author of The Biology of Belief.
Genetic determinism, as the name implies, genes determine the character of your life. And I say, when I was teaching that, what was I really teaching? The fundamental insight. And the insight was this: well, as far as we know, you didn't pick the genes you came with. You don't like the genes you came with. You can't change those either. And then we tell you the genes turn on and off without you being involved. Leads to one terrible conclusion. It says we are victims of our heredity. And once we buy that, we start looking in our family chain and say, oh, look what they got. I got the gene for that too. And then all of a sudden you realize my life is being programmed and I'm not in that programming part. So victim is what we were teaching. Simultaneously, I was working on stem cells, and this is back 1967. So some of you probably weren't even born yet. And the relevance was, at that time, I had a unique opportunity not just to work with stem cells, but clone them, which means I can create thousands of genetically identical stem cells. Stem cells are embryonic cells. People don't see it that way, but let me just tell you the reason. A body is made out of 50 trillion cells. And every day, hundreds of, and listen, billions of cells die every day. So you have to replace them. And if you're here watching this program right now, guess what? You have stem cells, because if you didn't have stem cells, embryonic cells, you wouldn't be able to replace all the dying cells, okay? So stem cells are embryonic cells in your body right now to replace those cells that we lose every day. So I grow a culture of cloning, meaning I started with one stem cell, and then after a week, 30,000 cells derived from that. That means 30,000 genetically identical cells. I grow cells, and this is the whole critical part. I grow cells in an environment called culture medium. So I put cells in a plastic culture dish, but there's fluid in there, and that fluid is called culture medium. Now, you ready? This is now the next most important. Culture medium is a laboratory version of blood. So if I grow human cells, I say, what's human blood made out of? And then I try to mix that all together in the lab and create culture medium from it. So it turns out I have 30,000 genetically identical cells in a culture dish. I split the cells into 3 dishes. So all dishes have the same genetically identical cells. And what I was doing was changing the chemistry a little bit of the culture medium. So I made 3 different versions of culture medium and 3 culture plates. I fed each plate with a different version. So each plate had a different environment, but all plates had genetically identical cells. In one environment, the cells form muscle. In the second environment, the cells form bone. And in the third dish with a different environment, the cells form fat cells. Now there's a profound question that arises here. I said, what controls the fate of the cells? And the answer is they were all genetically identical. The only thing that was different was the chemistry of the culture medium. Now we take one big step and put this all together, and that is this. I said we're made out of 50 trillion cells. I said, yeah, so we're skin-covered culture dishes. Underneath your skin, you got 50 trillion cells. I go, but they're in the original growth medium called blood. And I say, it doesn't make a difference if the stem cell is in a plastic dish or the stem cell is in a skin-covered dish. The stem cell's behavior is controlled by the environment. Culture medium in the dish, blood in the skin-covered dish. Change the chemistry of the blood, and you change the fate of the cells. So I go, wow, this is profoundly important, because the next question is, well, then what controls the chemistry of the blood? And the answer is the brain is the chemist, okay? And I said, yeah, but what chemistry should the brain put into the blood? And I go, and this is the critical point. Whatever picture you hold in your mind, the brain translates that picture into complementary chemistry and releases that into the blood. I go, so what does that mean? I said, well, if you have a picture of love in your mind, you release beautiful chemicals like dopamine for pleasure, oxytocin for bonding, growth hormone, which enhances your vitality. That's why when people fall in love, the chemistry of the blood in love enhances vitality. In contrast, you have a picture of fear of anything, fear of what's going on in the world, fear of your own health issues. I'm afraid I might have something. I say, well, that's a fear. I say, what's the consequence? I say, different chemistry from a picture of fear is created by the brain. A different chemistry that shuts down growth actually and puts you into protection. And so I go, oh, so when I'm afraid of things, I put in stress hormones. Yeah, I go, yes. And you put in factors that affect the immune system. Okay, now, bottom line conclusion. We look and say that the genes control the character of our lives. That's the old belief, genetic determinism. The new science, epigenetics, says no, the genes of the cells are controlled by the chemistry of the blood, which in turn is an expression of whatever picture is in your mind. And if you change the picture in your mind, you change the expression and genetics of the cells. Now, I saw a lot of questions that might be forthcoming, might come from cancer patients or parents or people connected with cancer. I'm going to say something that might blow your mind. There is no gene that causes cancer. Bottom line. There's no gene. You have that gene, you have cancer. I go, nope, there's no gene that does that. I say genes are correlated with cancer. I go, what does that mean? I said, they didn't cause it. They're correlated. I said, correlated with what? You ready? The picture in your mind. You can generate cancer just by a vision of generating cancer. You don't even need the cancer. You get a diagnosis, a misdiagnosis from a doctor, you have cancer. Guess what? You'll generate cancer. Why? If that's the picture, the function of the brain is to take that picture and make complementary chemistry so the body corresponds to the consciousness. That's what keeps us sane. I mean, if your world, you have belief about the world and every day you wake up and everything is different than you thought it was, it's like, it would blow your mind. But it's interesting. You wake up every day and the world's just as you thought it was. I go, yeah, because we are creating that. Is this a new age idea? No, basically, absolutely not. I got to emphasize this. Quantum physics, in my interpretation, is the most valid science on planet Earth. I go, principle is number one. Principle number one, consciousness is creating our life experiences. That was from day one, 1927. Quantum physics gets off the ground. And still today, even a recent article in the journal Nature, the most prestigious scientific journal, says the universe is immaterial, meaning it's all energy. The universe is immaterial. It's mental and spiritual. Live and enjoy. Here's the point. Let's say breast cancer gene, which affects so many women, not just physically, but psychologically, is the belief that if I have the breast cancer gene, then I'm going to get breast cancer. This belief drove Angelina Jolie, the actress, into having a double mastectomy while she was young and healthy and vital because her mother died of breast cancer, her grandmother died of breast cancer, her father, I think, is a doctor, recommended double mastectomy. Of course, if you really want to be safe from that nasty BRCA gene, you also have to have a hysterectomy because the same gene involved with cancer of the uterus and ovary. So she has a double mastectomy. And she says to herself, now I won't get breast cancer. And I have to stop and say, but you know that 50% of the women that carry the gene never get the breast cancer. I go, you have to understand the meaning of that statement. And I said, what does it mean? Possession of the gene does not cause the cancer. It's possession of the gene and disharmony in your life that causes cancer.